I think once you understand that significant action comes from consistent action, like small things every single day, then when you look back, you can realize that you've actually really come a long way. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today, we are going to be going through a little quick Q&A that I put out on Instagram the other day. So I just wanted to answer these questions because sometimes you guys have cool questions, weird questions, and I thought it'd be kind of an Ask Me Anything. So if you're interested in this sort of content, make sure you are subscribed with your notifications turned on. Let's get into the video straight away. Alright, so yeah, I like doing these sort of things. I don't do them that often. However, if you guys want me to do more of these kind of Q&As, even if you want me to go live maybe next Wednesday, I don't know, let me know down in the comments if you want more of these and if you want to have maybe a live every now and again. We can sort that out. So I've got some of these questions down here. Let's just go through them and just see what happens. I haven't read all of them, so it could be interesting. So this first one, I'm going to go from kind of top to bottom. This first one is from Matthew. It just says next hydrofuel color. So currently we have the gray and the blue. The next one would be pink after that. However, if I really wanted to go ahead and do a color, I might have a custom color made in a kind of a turquoisey type color because I kind of think that would do quite well, and it would differentiate me from everyone else because it's not a color that you can currently buy. I think that would do really well, but in terms of the popularity, it's gray, blue, and then pink. That's generally what people buy already. So yeah, that would be the next hydrofuel color. Make sure you guys, if you haven't picked up one of the blue ones, make sure you go and get one. They are awesome. Alrighty. So next question is, this is a really good question. What purchase of £100 or less had the most let me try that again. What purchase of £100 or less had the most, I'm going to say, impact in your life in the last 6 months? A very good question. I need to think about that. So that one's a really hard one. There's a couple of things that stick in my mind. First of all, when I'm thinking of something under £100, I'll probably think of something a lot less than £100. I think books are going to be the best investments that you can make for a little amount of money because they hold so much information within a very kind of a condensed piece of information. So that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? But I guess books are one of the best. I have a little book library down there. It's not that big, but I haven't read all of them. I certainly do need to read a lot more. I would say books is definitely a big one. The books that have made the most impact on my life, probably The 4-Hour Workweek, even Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins, The Business Idea Factory by I don't know who, Andre something, and what else? I tell you what, there's a really nice one by Darren Brown. It might be Confessions. Darren Brown, Trick of the Mind. I thought that was a really interesting. Let me just get that. Darren Brown, Trick of the Mind. Now, you might think, what has that got to do with business? This is a really cool book because it just talks about mindset in terms of how people think and how people's subconscious works, and particularly how you can train your own subconscious, and even like things like memory. I learned a whole bunch of stuff about memory from this book. So that's a little wild card that I'm going to throw out there. Other than that, then I have this laptop stand, which is actually, I think, a projector stand. I don't really know exactly what it is, but that's really useful for me. I work at basically this most of the day rather than working my desk because I get quite a sore back if I'm sitting down for hours and hours. So that was a really good purchase. That was probably like £20–30, and that's just helping me, I guess, be more efficient and not complain about my back all day. Here's a question: do we make Amazon seller account first and take your course after? It's completely up to you. If you want to go ahead and make an Amazon account, you can go and do that. However, you'd probably be having the Amazon account, paying Amazon for it, and not having anything to do. So I would say if you are going to take a course, don't create a Seller Central account until you need to, because otherwise you're going to waste money on the monthly fee. Another Amazon question: what's the average minimum startup cost of selling on Amazon? Now, I don't know what an average is. I just tell people to work within their means. You know, if you've got £1,000, then it means you can only go for certain products that you can probably import for £1. If you've got £5,000, it means you can spend a little bit more per unit, so that you can sell things a little bit more expensive. For example, I looked at products just yesterday, and you know, initial order would probably be like £4,000 or £5,000. So it's a higher barrier to entry, but equally, there's some sellers doing, you know, 30, 40, £70,000 a month with under 100 reviews. So there's definitely the ability for low budgets and high budgets. It just depends on what you have to work with, and then work within your means. So yeah, just do whatever you can to invest your money rather than spend your money on, you know, entertainment, holidays, eating out, that sort of stuff. Save that money and invest it instead. What's your health and fitness plan, calorie intake, workout plan, etc.? How much progress? Quite a lot of questions there. So I've always wanted to be like really into fitness, but when I had a full-time job, I found it very, very hard to stay healthy. So my meals would be quite, like, not calorific as such, but just the wrong type of food. Especially I was sitting down all day. And one of the big things that I wanted to do when I started making a bit of money and stopped working, basically stopped working a full-time job, is I wanted to get on top of my fitness. I tried it and it didn't really work. I kind of wimped out a bit and I didn't get any results. However, at the end of last year, I got a full-time personal trainer, 5 days a week, and it's completely changed my life around. It's completely, not changed my life around, but it has changed my life, because now every single morning, this may seem a bit weird, but I have a reason to get up in the morning. Not that I don't have a reason already, but other than that, if it wasn't for that, I would sleep in, because I can do my work in the middle of the day or the evening, but it gives me a reason to get up nice and early in the morning, get my mindset right just before I start the day. The goals I had at the starting was to lose fat, because I was getting a little bit chunky under the chin. So I wanted to first of all curb that and just lose some body fat straight away, which I did, and then basically build my upper body, which was quite small at the time, and now again it's getting a bit bigger, guys. We're getting some gains. I just did that. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry. Yeah, so at the moment we're technically on a cut, because I go on holiday very, very soon. So my calorie intake is really not very much, and I'm burning probably between 700 and 800 calories a day at the gym. So it's quite high intense workout. I did my first ever muscle up. One of the goals I set myself, this is a wicked question because I love talking about it. One of my first goals I set when I started with my personal trainer is that I wanted to be able to do a muscle up. And first of all, I just did not have the strength. I know a lot of it is about technique, and when you see people do it, it looks really easy. Oh my God, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. And just the other day, I did, just randomly, I hadn't done one for ages. We were trying to training on it and I wasn't really getting anywhere, so we just continued to work on my upper body strength. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try and do a muscle up. So I went over to the thingamajiggy and I did one straight away, and I looked at him, I was like, oh, like in disbelief. I was just like, oh my God, did that just happen? And then I gave it another go and now I can do them. So that was a really big win for me, because that was one of the goals I set myself. And I think what I'd like to do right now is kind of align that and bring that back to entrepreneurship really quickly, because I was nowhere near the ability, like, you know, 8 months ago, 10 months ago, there was no way that I would be able to, you know, lift what I lift with weights, the, you know, endurance I didn't have. I certainly would never be able to do, you know, something like a muscle up. I'll probably put the video in already, but if you train at something, if you practice it and you master that skill, or you continue to do it, you will get better and you will achieve the result that you want, but you need to stay consistent. I hands down wouldn't have been able to do that. I wouldn't be in the position I am now. That wouldn't happen without consistency. If I went once a week, it wouldn't happen. It had to be 5 days a week to get those sorts of kind of results over time, and to be manageable, right? I don't restrict my eating or anything like that. It's very manageable. And like within business, you guys, that's what you need to do. If you want to have a desired outcome, you need to focus on it all the time. That's really a big bit of advice, and that's something I do within my business every single day. You know, I get up in the morning, I'll go to the gym, and then I'll start working on the business. And it's something I do every single day. Like, weekends aren't a thing for me, unfortunately. I am working every single day, and to put content out for you guys, to help out the community, to work on my own businesses, there's always something that I want to push forward on. And I think once you understand that significant action comes from consistent action, like small things every single day, then when you look back, you can realize that you've actually really come a long way. But when you look at it on a day-by-day or a week-by-week basis, it doesn't really look like you've done much. But if you look back 2 years, 3 years. Huge things have changed in my life in that time, and you can only see it in hindsight. The last question, I say the last question is, why did I get into entrepreneurship? I left this one till last. It wasn't the last one I received. Why did I get into entrepreneurship in the first place? And I just want to take you back, guys, to I guess what I've wanted for a long time, and I didn't know exactly how I was going to make it happen. Years ago, I mean, like, I'm talking a long time ago, when I was in school, I would start selling things. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I was selling, but I would try and hustle to make money. I had a recording studio at my house where I would record bands, because I'm quite into my music technology. I did a whole bunch of stuff to try and make money when I was younger, and quite a lot of the time I did make money. But, like, you know, pocket money and stuff like that. Even at university, I would go busking literally on the streets to make money to go out drinking, so I could just, you know, pay for some nights out. Or I started teaching guitar, and I had students that I would teach. You know, I had quite a few students, and that would give me, again, a little bit of money to enjoy myself. So I think I've always been entrepreneurial, but what I was always doing is not being an entrepreneur. I was always being a service-based business, where I was the business. I was the person generating the income. And I tried to set up a company that was less like that, and it failed because it wasn't autonomous, it wasn't scalable. I still had to be the business, and that all changed when I started looking at Amazon as a business model, and then the YouTube stuff as well, which I didn't really appreciate would be a business when I started it. I had no idea that it could be a business, literally zero idea. So I wanted to become an entrepreneur because I don't know, it's something that's always been ingrained in me. I see my dad, who is a business owner, and having, you know, nice things when I was growing up. I was quite fortunate in that sense, and I was like, of course, I want to do those same things. I want to be able to provide for my family. You know, I want to be able to go on the nice holidays, do the nice things, relax. So I believe that you have to be able to put work in. I think it's quite rare to find someone that's maybe wealthy, or you know, has a life that they really truly like a really desirable life, if they're not a business owner. I'm not saying that it can't happen. It definitely can, but you have to really work hard to be able to work your way up in these companies, so that you can start earning those amounts. But ultimately, you're still going to be working at a company that is going to be, you know, a huge drain on your time. For me, it's always been a business owner. I've always wanted to have a business, but I just never really had a business until quite recently, you know, like a proper business that I could live on. So for me, it's something that's been part of me for as long as I can remember. I've always been entrepreneurial, but I haven't always been an entrepreneur, if that makes any sense. But now it's a case of, I want to be an entrepreneur because I know that the impact that it can have, not only on yourself, your family and your friends, but also, for example, for stuff that I do, impacting thousands of people, is something that really drives me forward, so that even if I'm having a bit of a crap day, then I have to snap out of it because I've got people that are relying on me. And that's what I love doing now. I love supporting people, I love educating, and I'm going to continue to do that. I have a whole bunch of cool new plans coming up, because I always want to push the envelope on that. I always want to make sure that I'm giving as much value as possible without repeating myself like all the time. But yeah, I think that's what drives me as an entrepreneur, rather than what drives me to become an entrepreneur. So if you want me to do more of these, or want me to go live or anything like that, or you found this interesting to understand a little bit more about my past life, I guess, the other things I'm interested in, then yeah, let me know down in the comments. I'm more than happy to do this sort of stuff, or even go live on YouTube as well. I used to do that all the time, and I'm kind of missing that a little bit. So yeah, let me know down in the comments, and we can set that up. If you've enjoyed today's video, smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed with your notifications turned on, and no, that's the beginning. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.